Have you ever felt overlooked, unappreciated, or taken for granted in a relationship? Perhaps you've been putting in effort, offering emotional support, and trying to maintain a healthy connection, only to realize that your value isn't being fully recognized. How would it feel if, instead of chasing after someone, you simply disappeared? Not with an explanation or a final confrontation, but with total silence, cutting off all contact. It might sound drastic, but disappearing completely can be one of the most powerful ways to reclaim your respect, regain control, and provoke deep self-reflection in others. What happens when you vanish from someone's life without leaving a trace? In this video, we'll explore the emotional stages that occur when you assert your worth by walking away, leaving the other person to reflect on their actions. Through this journey, you'll learn the crucial lessons of emotional independence and the empowerment that comes with not settling for being taken for granted. Let's dive into how disappearing can transform both you and the person left behind. Disappear completely to gain respect when you vanish without a trace, cutting off all communication. No texts, no calls, no social media updates. You send a powerful message. You won't tolerate being disrespected or taken for granted. It's not about playing games or seeking revenge, but about asserting your value and showing that you won't chase after someone who doesn't appreciate you. By disappearing, you're reminding them that your time and attention are valuable, and you're unwilling to waste them on someone who isn't fully invested. What's the ultimate result of disappearing? You reclaim control over your life and emotions, allowing the other person to come to terms with their own feelings. It's a demonstration of self-respect and emotional strength. No longer will you be a passive participant in a relationship that isn't reciprocated. The power shift is palpable, and when the other person realizes the depth of your absence, they begin to understand how much you truly meant to them. 2. 9 stages of emotion. When you leave, when you disappear, you trigger a series of emotional stages that the other person will inevitably go through. These stages highlight the internal journey they experience as they come to terms with your absence and reflect on their past action. Each stage represents a shift in the balance of power and control in the relationship, leading to a deep transformation in both parties. While the stages may vary in intensity, they all point to one universal truth. You have the power to create change in your life by removing yourself from a situation that no longer serves you. This emotional journey is a crucial aspect of the disappearing process, as it forces the other person to confront their own behaviors and take responsibility for their actions. 3. Stage 1. The sting of rejection. The first emotional stage someone experiences when you disappear is the sting of rejection. Initially, they feel shocked and hurt, realizing that the comfort and validation you once provided are no longer available. They may feel disoriented and confused, questioning what went wrong and why you've decided to leave. The sting of rejection is a sharp reminder of their own shortcomings, and it marks the beginning of the emotional transformation that will follow. They might try to rationalize the situation, but the truth is undeniable. They took you for granted, and now they must face the consequences. This stage sets the stage for deeper introspection and self-reflection as they begin to realize the full impact of your absence. 4. Stage 2. The void of missing you. As time passes, the person begins to feel the void left by your disappearance. The emptiness they experience is profound, as they realize that you brought meaning and warmth to their life. Without you, everything feels dull and uninspired. They start to miss the small things: your conversations, your presence, the comfort of knowing you were always there. The realization that they have lost someone important to them can be deeply unsettling. The void they feel is not just about the loss of a person, but the loss of the emotional connection and validation you provided. In this stage, they begin to understand the depth of your significance in their life, and the absence of your presence becomes more difficult to ignore. Stage 3. Overwhelming curiosity. As they come to grips with your absence, an overwhelming sense of curiosity begins to consume them. Without access to your life, no texts, no social media updates, no contact, they are left in the dark. This lack of information fuels their obsession and insecurity, They start to wonder, what are you doing? Who are you with? Are you moving on without them? The curiosity they experience becomes almost obsessive. The more they can't find out about you, the more desperate they become to understand your life. This stage is crucial because it creates a power imbalance. You have successfully shifted the focus from them to you, and their inability to control the situation only increases their desire to reconnect. 6. Stage 4. Deep self-reflection. In this stage, the person begins to reflect on their past behavior, considering whether they were too distant or took you for granted. As the reality of your absence sets in, they are forced to confront their action. They may begin to feel guilt, regret, or shame, as they realize they didn't appreciate you as they should have. This self-reflection can be deeply uncomfortable, as it forces them to question their own role in the breakdown of the relationship. It's during this stage that they begin to see the truth of what they lost and the impact of their behavior. The emotional discomfort they feel serves as a catalyst for change, as they come to terms with their mistakes. Stage 5. The urge to pursue as self-reflection leads to regret. The person begins to feel a strong urge to pursue you. They want to reconnect, to fix what's been broken, and to reclaim the relationship. The roles have reversed, and now they are the ones trying to win you back. They may reach out with messages, calls, or attempts to rekindle the connection. But the dynamics have shifted. You have reclaimed your emotional independence, and the pursuit now feels more desperate than genuine. They may not realize it yet, but the power balance has changed. Your emotional detachment has made you more attractive, and their neediness only fuels the cycle. 8. Stage 6. Battle between relief and regret. At first, the person may feel relief, thinking that your disappearance has freed them from a relationship that felt too demanding or complicated. However, this sense of freedom soon proves to be empty and unfulfilling. As they reflect on what they've lost, the relief quickly turns into regret. They start to wish they had acted differently, treated you better, and valued your presence more. This battle between relief and regret highlights the emotional conflict they feel. The freedom they once thought they wanted now feels like a hollow victory. They realize that what they've lost cannot be replaced, and the regret begins to weigh heavily on them. 9. Stage 7. The desire to play games out of insecurity and desperation. They may attempt to provoke a reaction from you. This could involve posting cryptic messages on social media, acting distant, or trying to make you jealous. But you've outgrown these games. You are no longer interested in playing the emotional games that once characterized the relationship. This stage reveals their frustration. They may try to manipulate the situation, but their efforts are futile. You've already moved beyond the need for validation, and their attempts to control the narrative only expose their own vulnerability. Stage 8. The crushing weight of silence. As the silence between you grows, the weight of it becomes crushing for them. Your silence speaks louder than words ever could. In this stage, they are forced to confront the reality of their actions. They realize that the absence of your communication is far more impactful than any argument or confrontation could ever be. The crushing weight of silence forces them to acknowledge that they cannot manipulate or control the situation. Your emotional independence has rendered their attempts at reconciliation ineffective. This silence is a powerful tool, and it communicates your self-worth and emotional strength without saying a word. Page 9. The fear of losing you permanently. At this point, the fear of losing you permanently sets in. They imagine you moving on with someone else, finding happiness and fulfillment without them. This fear propels them into action as they try to make attempts at reconciliation, hoping to regain what they lost. But by this stage, your emotional independence has become a permanent part of your identity. The fear they feel is a result of their own actions. And while they may try to regain your attention, you are no longer dependent on their approval or presence. 12. Stage 10. Realization of your emotional independence. The final stage for you is the realization of your own emotional independence. You no longer need their validation, their attention, or their approval. You have found peace within yourself, And this is the ultimate win. Emotional independence allows you to break free from the cycle of seeking validation from others, and it empowers you to live life on your terms. This stage marks the culmination of your journey. You have successfully reclaimed control over your emotions and your life. You are no longer dependent on anyone else to define your worth, and you are free to pursue your own happiness, knowing that it doesn't rely on someone else's presence. 13. Emotional independence as power. Reclaiming emotional independence is one of the most empowering things you can do. It allows you to live authentically, without the need for validation or approval from others. Emotional independence is the ultimate form of self-respect, and it frees you from the emotional turmoil that comes with seeking external validation. By embracing emotional independence, you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You no longer depend on anyone else to determine your happiness, and this gives you the power to live life on your own terms. 14. Refuse to be taken for granted. The ultimate lesson in this process is that you refuse to be taken for granted. By walking away and reclaiming control over your emotions, you assert that you won't settle for being treated as an option. You demand respect, and you show that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable. Support and growth mindset. This journey is not just about reclaiming power in a relationship, but about embracing self-respect and promoting growth. It's about developing a mindset that empowers you to become the best version of yourself, free from the constraints of seeking approval from others. By walking away, you not only assert your worth, but also encourage others to reflect on their own behaviors and grow from the experience.